afternoon and welcome to a cracker of a Premier League Sunday on LFS this afternoon. We start at the Emirates, where we will bear witness to the most intriguing North London derby in recent history. Both Arsenal and Tottenham have identical starts to the season, with both picking up 13 points out of a possible 15 so far. Tottenham are looking for their first league win at the home of their biggest rivals in 13 years, since a 3-2 victory in November 2010. Alongside that, there are 3 other 2 PM kickoffs in the Premier League this afternoon, with a South Coast match-up between Brighton and Bournemouth at the Amex. Chelsea welcome Aston Villa to Stamford Bridge, and West Ham head to the northwest to face Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool at Anfield. We'll keep you updated with all the scores from those games right throughout the afternoon. But back to this game at the Emirates and to the team news. Mikel Arteta makes 2 changes to the side that won comfortably against PSV in the Champions League on Wednesday night here, with Kai Havertz and the injured Leandro Trossard making way for Fabio Vieira in midfield and Eddie Nketiah in attack. David Raya continues his recent spell in goal for the Gunners, with captain Martin Odegaard starting alongside Declan Rice in the middle, with Gabriel Jesus leading the line. Ange Postecoglou makes just 1 change to the side that started in the late remarkable comeback win against Sheffield United last Saturday, as summer signing from Nottingham Forest Brennan Johnson makes his full debut for Tottenham. Captain Heung-min Son continues on the left wing, with Christian Romero and Mickey van de Ven the preferred defensive partnership. 2 teams desperate for bragging rights and points in the capital's most fierce matchup, ready to get underway at the Emirates. It's Arsenal against Tottenham, red against white, the North London derby, and kick-off is in just a moment. Good afternoon and welcome to the live coverage of Arsenal against Tottenham, the North London derby, the first of the season here on LFS. A highly anticipated North London derby, 2 teams in impeccable form as of recent times, and 2 teams looking for the bragging rights in North London. There's always an ongoing argument of what colour North London is. This afternoon it will be one colour, and both sides will be hoping it's their team's colour this afternoon. We'll also keep you up to date with the other 3 Premier League games kicking off at 2 o'clock, as I mentioned in the intro. So some highly anticipated matches, some very, very good games this afternoon. So do not go anywhere, as we will keep you up to date with absolutely everything that is happening this afternoon. Well, the players ready to go then here at the Emirates. Ange Postecoglou, his first North London derby. It's not one they'll be hoping to lose. He hasn't lost to Spurs manager in the league yet. Did lose in the cup to Fulham, but other than that, they have been unbeaten. Arsenal, of course, in their red and white, and Tottenham in their white and navy kits this afternoon, both in their traditional home jerseys. And Spurs get us underway here at the Emirates for the opening North London derby of the season. Spurs winless here at the Emirates since 2010. 13 years in that 3-2 victory back in November 2010. Arsenal have such an impeccable record here against Spurs, including that 3-1 win they had last season here. Arsenal won both of the North London derbies last season. I'll be hoping for something similar this season. We're underway in the other games, the games at the Amex and at Stamford Bridge, just awaiting kick-off at Anfield. For the moment there is an issue with the referee there, the referee's communication system, so the game has not kicked off at Anfield, but the other games are underway. We're about a minute into this game here at the Emirates. Spurs have it at the back. Here's Van de Ven. Goes back to his keeper. Now Van de Ven again under pressure. and will get the free kick. Martin Odegaard just a bit overzealous in that challenge there, and the free kick given by referee Rob Jones. We're hoping for quite a few goals this afternoon, considering we have 4 games kicking off at 2 o'clock. Spurs get it going then. Romero into Sarr, almost losing out to Jesus in the middle there. He's Bissouma. They do mess it up, Spurs. They're playing it out from the back. They do win the throw-in, though, the last touch off an Arsenal player. But Arsenal putting the press on early on here against Spurs. They know that Tottenham are going to want to play out from the back, get their back four involved and build from their defenders. But that'll be something that Tottenham or Arsenal will be looking to target this afternoon. Declan Rice winning the ball. It's given away, though. On the break, here's this Bissouma. Now Maddison. Out to the left. Brennan Johnson takes a shot, cuts in from the left-hand side, takes the right-footed shot and takes a deflection for the corner. Brennan Johnson there. It's James Maddison just moving, running towards the defence of Arsenal, plays it out wide to Brennan Johnson on the left, cuts into his right-hand side, takes it with his right foot, and it takes a deflection off an Arsenal defender for the corner. So an early corner here for Spurs on the right-hand side. Brennan Johnson, of course, making his debut for Spurs this afternoon after that move on deadline day from Nottingham Forest. Maddison to take the corner, right-footed, whipped in, half cleared by Tottenham or Spurs, and it's bouncing in, and it's gone in from Heung-min Son, but it's offside. Bouncing around the box there. Arsenal couldn't clear their lines. It was kept alive by Spurs on the edge. I think it was Bissouma that kept it alive. Bouncing around. Bissouma takes the strike at goal, and Heung-min Son is miles offside. He does pop it past David Raya, but he is miles offside, the Spurs captain. So no goal there. Interestingly enough, David Raya is yet to concede a goal as Arsenal goalkeeper so far. Those 2 games that he's played for Arsenal. Since the dramatic dropping of Aaron Ramsdale. He kept a clean sheet away at Everton, and then that 4-0 win over PSV here on Wednesday night. Yet to concede, David Raya. Porro to take this for Spurs. They get a free kick on the halfway line. Romero. Van de Ven. Goes back to Vicario. Under pressure again from Odegaard. Romero. And the challenge from Eddie Nketiah will see Spurs get the throw in as it goes out of play on that right hand side. The game at Anfield is now just underway, a bit later than the rest with a few communication issues with the referee, but we do have all of our games up and running then this afternoon, so we will keep you up to date with any scores from all of those games. Better from Spurs out from the back. Pape Sarr on the right hand side to find Maddison. Arsenal trying to fill out the bodies in midfield. Udogie goes back to Christian Romero. Now to Bissouma. Really good from Spurs, playing in those tight spaces. It's working out well. Pape Sarr gets it to Kulusevski. Popping it about Kulusevski. The press from Odegaard, but Arsenal do win it. Odegaard with the press there. Picked up by Rice. Now Zinchenko. Out to the right is Saka. Bukayo Saka up against Udogie. Flicks it round. Finds Odegaard trying to flick it back. And Udogie's there to cut it away. Now releasing Brennan Johnson down the left. Up against Declan Rice. And Brennan Johnson couldn't keep it in play. Arsenal will get the throw in. Bukayo Saka wanted a free kick, actually. It's not going to happen. There's nothing in that. Bit of a scuffle there, but nothing really in that between Udogie and Saka. Nothing doing for the referee there. Arsenal have the throw in on the right hand side then. Ben White goes back to Saliba. David Raya under pressure there from Son. Does well to get it to Gabriel. Now back to Raya. Takes a nice touch. Clears his lines. It's picked up by Nketiah, who's taken out there. Actually, Jesus, apologies, switch sides there. Jesus wins the free kick for Arsenal. Just inside their own half. A bit of a late challenge from Pedro Porro on the right foot of Gabriel Jesus there. He did make the pass off already, Jesus. The ball had already gone, so lucky to not get a yellow card there. The Spurs right back, Pedro Porro. Free kick's taken. Finds Saka. White has to go all the way back to his keeper. Raya. Zinchenko. Now Fabio Vieira. Out to Jesus on the left. Up against Porro. Plays it on for Nketiah. Nketiah trying to get past Romero. That's a fantastic challenge by Van de Ven, though, to win it back for Spurs. Competitive start to the game. Still 0-0 in the other 3 games. Brighton Bournemouth is 0-0, Chelsea Aston Villa is 0-0, and Liverpool West Ham is also 0-0. Arsenal have just won a free kick here on the right hand side. I think it's Saka and Udogie again. It's an intriguing battle on that right hand side. It's caused a bit of afters already. A bit of tension. And Arsenal have a free kick. So Odegaard to take this one for Arsenal. What can they do from their first real delivery into the Spurs box? Rob Jones just making sure everything's okay in that defensive line. The whistle goes. Odegaard ready to go. Takes it left-footed. Whips it into the box. Bouncing around. Spurs can't clear it. Udogie couldn't clear it. Saka there to try and challenge, and Saka was deemed to have the last touch, so that will be a goal kick to Tottenham. Did think initially that was a goal kick. Saka actually thought it was a corner, but it was a good decision by the officials. There was a stat that I heard just before the game. Spurs have finished above Arsenal in 6 of the last 7 seasons. Last season was the first time in 7 years that Arsenal had finished above Spurs in the Premier League table. That's a push there. That's a free kick to Tottenham. Jesus getting back on Spurs there, and Basuma was involved. So free kick to Tottenham inside their own half. Van de Ven to take. Romero. Van de Ven. Under pressure from Odegaard. Goes back to Vicario. Basuma. Mopping it all up. Van de Ven has to go back to Vicario again. Vicario clears it long. And that's all the way through to David Raya, who can pick it up for Arsenal. Throws it out to Gabriel. Finds Vieira in midfield. Vieira bundled over there by Dejan Kulusevski. And a free kick goes Arsenal's way. 10 minutes gone in the North London derby. It's still goalless. Arsenal got a quick start to the game last season, scored within 20 minutes. Thomas Partey opening the scoring in the fixture here last season. For Harry Kane's penalty levelled it. Of course, he's not involved here for the first time in 17 straight North London derbies. No Harry Kane for Spurs. He had started in all of the last 17. But of course, not at the club no more. Making a real appearance at Bayern Munich. Of course, that hat-trick against Bochum yesterday, including a penalty as well. That's a poor ball by Arsenal, picked up by Pape Sarr there, or Brennan Johnson, sorry, and Udogie will get the free kick for Spurs. I've just seen a big chance at Anfield Big chance for West Ham, actually. Forced a big save from the Liverpool goalkeeper, Alisson. Parried it wide. That's one thing about West Ham. They've also started pretty well. A few London teams in good form. Udogie. Brennan Johnson. Back to Van de Ven. Now Romero. Through the lines to find Pape Sarr. Porro. Linking up with Kulishevsky. Has to go back to Romero though. And now Bissouma. Madison back to Bissouma. Bit more defensive. Porro. Now Romero. Spurs have it at the back here. Here's Pape Sarr. Intercepted nicely by Nketiah. Heavy touch and kept the ball. Declan Rice picked it up. That's very good from Arsenal. The man down for Spurs, but the referee won't play on, and that's a poor ball through the middle for Arsenal. Broke down. It was actually James Maddison that had gone down for Spurs. It got about a right reaction from the home fans. Bissouma. Now Udogie. Pressured by Saka. Nice turn of the ball. Finds Bissouma again. But Odegaard's there to break it apart. Finds it to Vieira. Now back to his captain, Martin Odegaard. Saka on the right hand side. Bukayo Saka. Working its way in, working it into the box. Flicks it to the back post. I'm waiting there. Oh, it was Jesus. It was just saved by Vicario. Very good save, kept alive by Saka, still not finished yet. Good from Saliba. White, and the good recovery run from Brennan Johnson to win it back. And we'll get the free kick off Ben White there, Brennan Johnson. And we'll alleviate that pressure on the Spurs defence momentarily. But what a huge chance for Gabriel Jesus. It's Saka, works it into the box, taking his time, waiting for the space to open up. He lifts the ball, chops it to the back post, and Gabriel Jesus just connects beautifully with it at the back post, right across goal, and Vicario just gets to it with his hand and parries it wide. That's a huge opportunity for the Arsenal number 9 to put the home side ahead, but the Spurs keeper denying him the opening goal. The Spurs keeper that's just taken the free kick here. First header won by Brennan Johnson, the second one by Gabriel. And Saka challenged there by Udogie. It's a late one. Calls of a yellow card. Not happy, and a yellow card is coming here for Destiny Udogie. A few challenges on Bukayo Saka. I said it would be a tasty challenge, or a tasty battle between those two, and it has been. And we have the first booking of the North London derby. And Destiny Udogie, the first man in the book, and have to watch himself now against a very pacey winger in Bukayo Saka. Always has a real threat for Arsenal in any game, really. Mikel Arteta was beside himself there after that challenge. It's Udogie's second yellow card of the season. Still no goals in any of the other games. Still goalless everywhere else, at the Amex, at Stamford Bridge and at Anfield. All goalless. I've also had a yellow card for Martin Odegaard, whatever that's for. So Odegaard also in the book. I think that might be just complaining to the referee. A bit of back talk, maybe. Who knows? Ben White to take the free kick then. Floats it over the top, trying to put pressure on Udogie initially, but it's well helped out. There, oh, he's giving it away, and Nketiah's in here, and Nketiah! Just wide. Big save by Vicario. Udogie almost costing his side a goal. It's played back to him by Bissouma. Udogie just too casual on the ball. Tries to play it back to Mickey van de Ven. Completely misses his centre-back. And Nketiah makes the run beyond him. And Nketiah tries to take it first time. Trying to see the inside of the right post. But good save by Vicario. Corner, Arsenal. Shaky spell that from Spurs. Shaky moment from Udogie. Saka with a corner. Left-footed, whipped in. Headed on by Rice, but played away. Vieira to keep it alive for Arsenal on the left-hand side. Zinchenko over the top. Brought down by Jesus and just got away from him. And Pape Sarr back to Vicario, who can clear his lines. And actually get Spurs on the counter-attack. No, he can't. It's actually a free kick to go the other way. Free kick to Arsenal. James Maddison's not happy with the referee's decision there. The decision's been given. Free kick to Arsenal. I'll just actually have a quick look at the other games. It's been actually, hold on, Arsenal coming forward here. Saka on the right flank. Goes himself, still going himself, but need a bit of help. Actually, he didn't. He won it back. Rice, Vieira, Zinchenko. Good desire from Arsenal. When they lose the ball, they're instantly trying to win it back. Saliba. Now Ben White. Saka back to White. White keeps it. Odegaard trying to steal it, but gives it away. Brennan Johnson. Nice Son. Maddison. And Johnson with Spurs in possession. Not much happening at the Amex. Of course, Brighton lost in their first ever European game on Thursday night to Ike Athens 3-2. They're yet to have a shot after having 71% possession, but it's Bournemouth that look the more likely to score there, but still goalless. Chelsea have the only shot of the game at Stamford Bridge. The possession's 50-50 so far. But Chelsea with the only shot on target. Big chance, Tottenham with a cross, cleared away, and the follow-up is over the bar. As I was saying, Chelsea the only shot on target in the game at Stamford Bridge. Nothing really happening there. And at Anfield as well. West Ham with the only shot on target there. Liverpool having more of the possession, 58%, but West Ham having the better chance early on. That big save from Alisson denying West Ham the opener, or any sort of opening goal at Anfield at the moment. Right, still goalless here, and Arsenal caught out at the back there. There's Vieira beating off the ball. Kulishevsky with a cross, but David Raya does well. And we do have a goal. After talking about no goals early on, we do have a goal at Anfield. We'll get to that in a moment. Arsenal coming forward here. Rice has to go backwards, and it's the home side. As I mentioned, West Ham had all the chances, had the best of the chances, and it's a penalty from Mohamed Salah to put Liverpool ahead. Seeing the challenge again, it's a late challenge from Naif Aguirre. The referee, Craig Pawson, no doubt, points to the spot. It all starts from a counter-attack. Darwin Núñez feeds it to Luis Diaz down the left-hand side. Diaz back to Núñez, flicks off Núñez's right boot. Salah tries to take the inside touch, and Naif Aguirre makes a late challenge, and Salah wins the penalty and slots it home. I'm just going to see the replay of the penalty here while we wait. Just seeing that. Salah, it's at the Anfield Road end. Salah left-footed, right down the middle. No full power past Alphonse Areola. And Liverpool have the lead. So 1-0 to Liverpool at Anfield, and goalless in the other two games as well early on. Right. Back to the North London derby then. Ben White. Zinchenko. 20 minutes gone. Still 0-0. It's been a pretty even game, but Arsenal probably had the better of the chances, but better the attacking play. But Spurs still hanging in there. Saka steals it past Udogie. Now Odegaard. Odegaard in the box on the right, trying to keep it alive, but Udogie recovers really, really well and takes it away from the Arsenal captain. Udogie trying to get Spurs forward here, but Heung-min Son labouring in an offside position, and the whole attack for Spurs breaks down in an instant, and Arsenal will get the free kick. Just look like they're struggling to get the ball to their forward players at the moment, Spurs. You know, we speak about the impact of James Maddison to the Spurs side in early weeks and their performances, but not seen very much of him, or the wide players. Brennan Johnson's probably been the most involved attacker for Spurs so far. making his debut, of course, today. That's a really good challenge from Ben White. Saka gets it to Zinchenko. Jesus on the left. 2 men to try and beat. Jesus has to go back to Zinchenko. And now Gabriel back to William Saliba. And Saliba's ball's far too overhit, that one. Spurs will get the throw in on the right hand side. Well, do get involved in the chat if you haven't done so already. It'd be great to hear from you. Great to have your opinions on this game so far, any of the other games going on, any of the action earlier in the Premier League weekend with Crystal Palace and Fulham drawing 1-1. Luton getting their first points ever in the Premier League at home to Wolves. 10-man Wolves, that is. Man City down to 10. Rodri sent off at the start of the second half, but they held on to get 3 points against Nottingham Forest, 2-0. Brentford beaten by Everton. Everton's first win of the season coming in London for the first time in over 2 years. For Everton, 3-1 winners there, and Man United eking out a very probably undeserved victory, but 3 points nonetheless against Vincent Kompany's Burnley, who are yet to get a win themselves this season. Bottom of the table, Burnley. After that defeat to Manchester United. Those are the early games of the weekend. Nketiah trying to threaten. Clearance from Spurs falls to Heung-min Son, who tries to get his team on the counter. Out wide to Kulusevski on the right. Kulusevski. Back to Maddison. Maddison blocked off by 3 Arsenal players, but he'll win the free kick though. It's Fabio Vieira, I think, makes the challenge. He's the one that's actually come off the worst, is Fabio Vieira. Vieira still down. The Spurs that have the free kick, actually. Chris in the chat says, come on you Gunners. I'm not going to read the second part of that one, Chris, but anybody that's interested in that comment, you can see what Chris has put in the chat there. In that one. James Maddison to take this free kick then for Spurs. Good distance out this. I'll just try and navigate how far it is if I can get the wide camera. I know James Maddison's face. I know what he looks like. Can we see the distance? Around about, oh, it's a good distance, about 36 yards or something. 34 yards, I'd say. Maddison with a flick ball on. Arsenal clear it away and falls to Pape Sarr on the left, who strikes right through it. Ends up out on the opposite side. Kulusevski brings it down. Spurs keep the attack going. Maddison. Porro. Now Kulusevski. Has to go back to Maddison again. And now Van de Ven. Bissouma. Through the lines. Nice movement from Udogie, but that's well beaten by Saka. And well won back by for Arsenal. Saka feeds it on to Nketiah. Linking up with Nketiah again as Saka. Trying to find Odegaard that time, but he loses out to Kulusevski. Kulusevski, then he loses out to Zinchenko, who wins it. Arsenal coming down the left-hand side. Alexander Zinchenko, not many in attack. Zinchenko plays it across to Odegaard. Odegaard out to Saka on the right. Bukayo Saka cuts inside. Saka with the strike, and it's deflected in. Christian Romero puts it into his own net, and it's something that could have been easily avoided by Spurs, but it hasn't been. Christian Romero from the Bukayo Saka strike finds Arsenal 1-0 to the good here. Christian Romero's own goal puts the Gunners 1-0 up. It's not the most threatening of strikes, to be fair. It collides off Christian Romero and into the Spurs net. A bit of a shock. It all comes from the counter-attack. Zinchenko plays it to Odegaard. Odegaard out wide to Saka. Saka chops back onto his left. Tries to curl it towards goal. And it ends up hitting Christian Romero. And the wicked deflection ends up like a pure strike into his own net. Well past Vicario. Into the near corner, actually. up against Romero. It's an awful attempt at a clearance. I don't know what he's trying to do. He tries to clear it. He puts his leg up. It collides off his left knee, I think it is, and in to the Spurs net. Mikel Arteta is jubilant. The Arsenal crowd here are jubilant. They are happy. Their side have had the attacking, well, probably the best attacking action of the half so far, and they have the lead. So Arsenal 1, Spurs 0, and Madison wins a free kick there for Spurs. There we go. We're off and running then. The North London derby. I think it will go down as definitely go down as an own goal, because there's no guarantee that was on target, to be fair, and it takes such a deflection off Romero that there's no doubt that you have to give that as an own goal. Well, it took Arsenal 20 minutes last season. It took them 26 minutes to break the deadlock this season. The same outcome. Saka, so many times, I don't know how many times defenders need to be told, never let players like Bukayo Saka cut inside on his left. It's terrible clearance from Romero, but if Saka isn't allowed the space to cut inside and take the strike initially, none of that actually happens. So ultimately, it's actually poor from Spurs, the fact that they just let Saka just chop on the inside. You know how dominant he is with that left foot cutting inside. It's fantastic, and it seems like London buses, we were going so long without goals. We've had 3 goals in quick succession, and we have a goal at the Amex. I mentioned earlier on that Brighton were actually dominating the possession and were having, well, the more of the ball and hadn't had a shot. And I said that Bournemouth were the more likely to score. Well, that has transpired, because Bournemouth have scored, and it's Dominic Solanke that has put Bournemouth ahead in that one. 25 minutes gone, and Dominic Solanke putting Bournemouth ahead. That would be, if they got it, that will be their first win of the season for Bournemouth. And of course, Andoni Areola. But they'll not get too excited with themselves. They did go 1-0 up against Liverpool at Anfield away from home recently, and we ended up 3-1, beaten 3-1 on that occasion. Brighton are a really good side, so they'll not be worried just yet, the Brighton fans, and Bournemouth fans will not get themselves too hyped up just yet. Spurs trying to get on back to level terms. That's really good. They combined really well on that right hand side, Spurs, but it was cut out beautifully by Jesus. Zinchenko carrying it away. Vieira down the left hand side. Arsenal are kind of springing their step now after that opening goal. Rice has to go back to Saliba. Well, of course, it's Declan Rice's first North London derbies. He's accustomed to London derbies, of course, playing for West Ham for a long, long time. He's well familiar with them. That's a lovely ball by Saka, out to the left-hand side. Vieira with a cross. Jesus was lurking, and Mickey van de Ven was there just ahead of Gabriel Jesus, but Jesus again threatening at the back post. It was the opposite side this time, as Saka drives it out to the left-hand side. Fabio Vieira making the run. Vieira just kind of chips it to the back post. Gabriel Jesus is there waiting to finish it off, but really good covering by Mickey van de Ven to spot the danger and put it behind for the Arsenal corner. 30 minutes gone, 1-0 to Arsenal, but Spurs look to be a bit shaken up after that goal. Haven't regained their composure. Saka with the corner from the right-hand side. Headed away by Spurs at the front post. Another corner will come here for Arsenal. Just a strange challenge there from the Liverpool captain, Virgil van Dijk. Was a quick check for a possible red card on Jared Bowen, but nothing doing there from VAR. Corner from Arsenal, whipped in. Headed by Spurs away again. Vieira keeps it alive, a bit of a flick on, but straight into the hands of the Spurs keeper, Vicario. So let's just round up where we are at the moment. 31 minutes gone, and round about 31 minutes gone in these games at 2 o'clock. 4 games in the Premier League. Arsenal 1-0 to the good in the North London derby against Spurs. Brighton 1-0 down against Bournemouth. It's still 0-0 between Chelsea and Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge. And Liverpool leading West Ham by 1-0 at Anfield. Madison, oh, it's almost given it away! And Gabriel Jesus hits it over the bar. Too casual for it's James Madison. I wasn't sure if it was. It was. Madison in the back line, inside his own 18-yard box. He comes a bit deeper to pick up the ball from his keeper. Far too casual on it. Doesn't see the threat of Jesus coming on the press. Jesus just nicks it away from Madison. Takes the strike right away, Jesus. Just over the bar. Spurs all over the place here. They just have no concentration at the moment. Defensively anyway. Need to regain that. Just look a bit loose. Son finds it to Madison. Arsenal making the challenge, and Madison the one that's penalised as the Arsenal player goes down. Fabio Vieira. So free kick to Arsenal on the edge of their own 18-yard box. Okay. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. This is not the end of the Premier League action today. We have the roundup, the 10th and final game of the weekend. Sheffield United against Newcastle. Newcastle getting a positive result in their Champions League return on Tuesday night away at AC Milan. They have a trip to the Blades, to Bramall Lane to come later this afternoon to round off match week 6 in the Premier League. We'll have that live audio commentary and match mapping of that one from 4:30 this afternoon on LFS. Arsenal just have it gone up a gear since that goal. They've added a bit of extra quality since then. Rice, now Zinchenko. Out to the left is Gabriel Jesus. Vieira. 2 Spurs players on him and they win the ball. Back to Romero, who gives it straight back to Bukayo Saka. Now Rice. He's no option on that right flank. He's a bit pressured there. Rice loses out to Udogie, who makes a good challenge. Udogie now feeds it through Brennan Johnson. Really good last-ditch challenge by Saliba there to deny the debutant a run at the Arsenal goalkeeper. Here's Zinchenko in the midfield for Arsenal. Has space. Finds it out to the left to Jesus again, up against Kulishevsky. Chops back and tries to lift one into the box, but too much on that one from Jesus, and that will be comfortably caught by the Spurs keeper. I just want to give you an update on the Chelsea-Villa game. That's the only game of the 2 o'clockers that hasn't seen a goal so far. Not surprised at that, to be fair. Still very, very even. 52% to 48% possession in Chelsea's favour narrowly. Both sides have had 2 shots on target from their 2 shots. Corners are pretty even, 2 to 3 in Villa's favour, and Chelsea have missed a big chance. But so far it is still goalless in that one at Stamford Bridge. Lovely from Jesus. Nice quick feet, tries to flick it into the box. Spurs get bodies there. Porro to clear it away. Madison with a flick on. Here's Pape Sarr up against Gabriel. Zinchenko making the challenge, and it comes off Pape Sarr. Last Arsenal throw in. They've really grown in confidence, Arsenal, since that Christian Romero goal. The last 10 minutes have been much, much better from Mikel Arteta's team. On the ball. Just as I say that, David Raya plays this ball straight through to Vicario, the Spurs keeper. Right through the middle. Arsenal trying to press Spurs again. Van de Ven has it at the back. Running out from the back, gives it to Johnson. Now plays it on for Udogie, but that's well covered by William Saliba, who gives it back to his keeper David Raya. Raya under pressure, and he puts it straight out of play, but I think there will be a free kick, I think. on David Raya. Looks to be what the referee has given there, Rob Jones. He has. So free kick there. Nice work. Saka on the right hand side for Arsenal. Up against Van de Ven. Chops back onto his left. Cuts it back. Ødegaard on the edge. Ødegaard with a strike. Straight at Vicario, who dives to his right and catches the ball. Again, Saka threatening on that right hand side. They can't deal with it, Spurs. Saka's been the real threat down that right flank, as he always seems to be for Arsenal. Always seems to get the better of opposition left backs and left centre backs. Vicario takes the goal kick, or the kick out from the back. Pape Sarr back to Romero. Now Bissouma. Miss Madison. His ball is. His pass is given away to Nketiah, but recovered by Romero. Nice from Porro to feed it through the lines. Son. Now Kulusevski. Kulusevski on the right flank up against Gabriel. Kulusevski cups back. Finds it to Son. Son cuts it back. And Brennan Johnson. Big save from Raya. Massive save. It was incredible link-up play from Spurs. But a top-class save from David Raya. Denies the Spurs equaliser. Really, really good save. Made up a lot of ground there, David Raya, to come across for that save. Denying Brennan Johnson a debut goal from that position. What a close moment that was for Spurs. Much more positive that for them. That's their first shot on target of the game, Spurs. Bissouma. Madison, back to Yves Bissouma. Now through to Porro, trying to feed it through to Son, but dealt with by Arsenal at the back. Rice to Gabriel. Pressure again. Gabriel clears his lines, and Nketiah tries to nick it forward. The last touches off Eddie Nketiah, and will be a throw into Spurs. Just see the free, the chance again from Spurs. It's Kulusevski. You think he's going to cut it back. He gives it round the corner to Son. Then Son does cut it back. Brennan Johnson steps off the Arsenal defence and takes the side foot, right-footed, straight at David Raya. But it's a fantastic save by Raya down to his right-hand side. Switch ball to Johnson again from Spurs. Back to Sarr. Into the middle is Bissouma. Romero. Spurs deep in the Arsenal half now. Son. Poor giveaway to Zinchenko, and Gabriel back to Raya. Raya with a long clearance. Romero heads it across to Mickey van de Ven. Spurs will keep the ball. Excuse me. Pape Sarr. Now to Brennan Johnson. Johnson puts it across straight at David Raya, who makes the catch. Just seen another replay of that chance, and that David Raya save gets a clap from Aaron Ramsdale on the bench. Seems to be no love lost there for that challenge of number one for Arsenal in goal. Seems to be pretty calm. David Raya started the last three, including this one, in goal for Arsenal. As I mentioned, 2 clean sheets in his 2 previous. So far, holding up a clean sheet after 40 minutes against Spurs, who have scored 13 goals so far this season. That's joint second in the league with Liverpool. Joint third, apologies, after Brighton and Manchester City, who scored 16 and 15 respectively. But no breakthrough as of yet for Spurs in terms of goal scoring. But chances are coming accrue now. Madison with the ball. Forward from Kulusevski. Up against Gabriel. Better from Spurs. Out to the right. Cross. from the right-hand side, and Raya has to make the save. Brennan Johnson takes a strike and saved again by Raya. Half cleared away. Arsenal a bit on the ropes here. Spurs pushing. Madison beats his man, cuts it back from the byline, flicked in and on. And Heung-min Son, the Spurs captain, gets Spurs back level. They've been pushing for it the last 5 minutes. Brennan Johnson's been the most threatening, but it's Heung-min Son, the newly appointed Spurs captain, that has them back level in the North London derby. Complete shock around the Emirates. They can't believe it. Madison to Son, and Son inside off the right hand post to find it. It's constant pressure from Spurs in the last few moments. Brennan Johnson had a couple of chances. They couldn't clear the lines from that David Raya save. Kept alive by Adogi. Madison up against Saka. Saka thinks he's got the better of him. Madison just bursts past him, gets to the byline, and cuts it back onto the 6-yard line for Heung-min Son, who just slots it past David Raya into the far corner. Lovely goal by Spurs. And that's exactly the quality that Ange Postecoglou has been hoping for in this first half. It's the exact quality that they've lacked at finding in the first half. But they have eventually found it. And parity is restored here in the North London derby. We do have a goal elsewhere as well, and it also is in London. I will get to that in a moment. With Son there on the score sheet. Actually, no. We don't have a goal elsewhere. It's just come up that VAR have ruled that one out. Axel Disasi thought he'd put Chelsea ahead against Aston Villa. It was initially disallowed. I think it has been disallowed. It has. So 0-0 in that one. Chelsea thought they'd taken the lead. They've had a very poor start to the season, Chelsea. And a big win against Aston Villa would certainly do them a world of good. But so far, still goalless in that one. Daniel in the chat says, phew. Indeed, Aston Villa fan, of course, Daniel, in the chat, joining us this afternoon. So 1-1 here in the North London derby. Still 1-0 to Bournemouth away at Brighton. Still goalless between Chelsea and Aston Villa. And Liverpool still lead West Ham by 1-0 at Anfield. Although West Ham had a penalty shout there from Alexis McAllister's challenge on Jared Bowen, but VAR checked it and gave nothing. As the corner comes in and cleared away. Right, Spurs coming out from the back then. Can we see another dramatic turnaround at the end of a half for Spurs? They had an incredible comeback against Sheffield United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last weekend. I've just heard there is a goal at Anfield, and not good news for Liverpool fans. It is 1-1. West Ham have levelled it. I'm just about to see. Maybe it could be from a corner. I'm just going to see now. Well, we will see. James Ward-Prowse with a corner. I'm just seeing here. Whipped in from the right-hand side. It's headed on. Cleared away by Liverpool. West Ham have taken the lead in that, or have levelled it in that one, by the way. So 1-1 in that one between Liverpool and West Ham. And we will have 4 additional minutes at the end of this half here at the Emirates. 4 minutes after a very exciting and very even first half. I think I'm about to see the chance now for West Ham. I am. Cross from Sofal. Diving header from Bowen. And Bowen finds it into the net past Alisson. There's a yellow card given out here. There's a bit of a scuffle for Spurs. I think there's 2 players have been booked. Completely missed it. I was just trying to check the West Ham goal. See this again. Arsenal win it back off Jesus. Pape Sarr then commits the foul on Jesus. And surely, I think Pape Sarr does get the free kick. And then the late challenge on thing of Adogi. It's just gone a bit boiled over there. But there was a yellow card to Pape Sarr for that one. So Pape Sarr with his second yellow card of the season. He's in the book. Wouldn't be a North London derby without a bit of needle, would it? I'm confused. They haven't told us who got the other yellow card. There was 2 yellow cards shown. Ah, there we go. Yves Bissouma was also booked for Spurs, probably complaining or something, but that's a strange one. Bissouma with his 3rd yellow card of the season. That free kick from Arsenal has just gone behind for a Spurs goal kick. Just to get confirmation of that West Ham goal, it is Jared Bowen that's levelled it for West Ham, 1-1 at Anfield. It's just gone half-time, I think. It has at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0, and we have another goal at the Amex. Now, I mentioned so far that Bournemouth wouldn't get their hopes up too high, taking the lead against Brighton. Brighton's such a good side, and they'd be disappointed because they've now come back level, Brighton, in that one. So 1-1 in that one at the moment, and I think there's been another goal at Anfield. I'll wait for confirmation on that one, but I think there has been. Brighton have levelled it against Bournemouth in that one in added time of the first half. There, we're around about a minute and a half away from half-time at the Emirates as well. And there has been a 3rd goal at Anfield, and it's gone the way of the home side. It's Liverpool that just moments after conceding have regained the lead against West Ham. I think I might see it now. Szoboszlai, Diaz. Arsenal have it on the left-hand side of the throw-in, by the way, if you're wondering what's happening in that one. Szoboszlai lifts it into the box. There it is. It's Szoboszlai with the lift into the box and Curtis Jones to finish it. But it's just been disallowed? I'm so confused. The flag went up. It was given on the field, and then it's just been disallowed. Baffling. It's still 1-1 actually in that one. And Arsenal with the chance over the bar. Very confusing. It's Luis Diaz. Gives it to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai cuts inside, and Curtis Jones, yeah, he's just offside there. Curtis Jones, who thought he'd put Liverpool back ahead, but he hadn't. He was just offside. So 1-1 it remains at Anfield. Crazy few moments there. Craig Pawson, the referee, just waiting on confirmation of that one, but we've already seen the confirmation of that one. And that Brighton goal was actually a Milos Kerkez's own goal for Bournemouth. And there is the half-time whistle at the Emirates. Nothing between these two big rivals in North London at half-time. A very close-fought game. Got a bit scrappy towards the end of the first half with a bit of needle for both teams. Both sides a bit looking for a bit more from their teams. But at half-time in the North London derby, there is nothing to split these two big sides. Arsenal 1, Tottenham 1 at the break.
Messi, I'll put you in a grave 6 feet like Kenny. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
For Arsenal, who were for the most part the better team, but a really good response and a fine goal from Tottenham for Son. So Arsenal 1, Tottenham 1 at half-time here at the Emirates, and Steve Crossman is sitting here just to my left.
Thanks, mate.
That's all right, mate.
Matt, that was absolutely frenetic. Absolutely frenetic. Whenever a big tackle went in from a Tottenham player, the way the Arsenal fans stood up around us here, it was like every little sort of nudge and simple free kick was a two-footed stamp, and I'm sure it was the same with the Tottenham fans opposite us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as you'd expect. Everything's so hyped, isn't it? Everything's, you know, all the senses are heightened, both off the field and on the field, by the way, because the intensity they've just played that 45 minutes at, they'll be sat down having having a drink and just having a breather, because the pressure that Arsenal tried to apply, 6-7 maybe players, certainly in the attacking half, or shall we say the Spurs defensive half, or even defensive third at times, pressing that high. I mean, it was a real gamble at times from Arteta.
Incredible sound inside this stadium. Arsenal won, Tottenham won at half-time. Right, let's get some more considered thoughts on the other half-times in the Premier League. We'll start with the match between Brighton and Bournemouth. Flo Pollock.
Half-time, it's Brighton 1, Bournemouth 1. Brighton looking lacklustre and some sloppy play at the back. Gifted Dominic Solanke a goal early on, but Brighton got level just before the break. A whipped-in ball by Billy Gilmour was turned into his own net by Milos Kerkez. An own goal for the Bournemouth man. At the break, it's Brighton 1, Bournemouth 1.
Any sign of Chelsea being able to get a goal at home to Aston Villa, Henry Moran?
Chelsea 0, Villa 0. I'm not quite sure how. Both sides could have scored at least a couple. Chelsea's frustrations in front of goal continue, but they have played with purpose and threat. Mudryk, Sterling making good runs on either flank, but Jackson up front hasn't quite looked like the number 9 that Chelsea need. Aston Villa, meanwhile, have probably come closest to finding that goal. Zaniolo's volley brilliantly tipped over by Sanchez. There was one moment the ball was in the back of the net for Chelsea. Disasi's powerful header quite clearly offside, so celebrations had to stop rather swiftly. Bizarre end to the half. 3 minutes added time signalled. One was played. Half-time whistle blown. Explain that one. Chelsea 0, Villa 0.
We got underway slightly late at Anfield. Are we still going, Mike Miner?
We are. Liverpool 1, West Ham 1 into 4 minutes of added time, and Liverpool ending the half strongly as a player goes down just outside the box, but the Anfield crowd will tell you just which way that went. Free kick to West Ham outside their own penalty area. Salah with the penalty, Bowen with the header to equalise. We're closing in on half-time, 1-1.
Thank you very much, Mike. We will we'll let you know exactly when the half-time whistle goes. Coming up shortly, we'll be talking a little bit of boxing. We're going to hear from Joe Joyce. Max Verstappen won the Japanese Grand Prix earlier today, helping Red Bull win the Constructors' title. He's now 177 points clear at the top of the championship. We'll also be to the afternoon kickoff in the championship, Sunderland versus Cardiff. We will look ahead to Rangers versus Motherwell, and we'll be checking in on the Solheim Cup as well. The half-time whistle has now gone at Anfield. It's Liverpool 1, West Ham United 1. We'll look ahead to the 4:30 kickoff in the Premier League as well, which will bring you in full. Sheffield United versus Newcastle. We'll do all of that after the news with Dan Maudsley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, has ordered a review of armed policing after a number of Met Police officers stepped back from firearm duties. It's in response to a marksman being charged with the murder of Chris Cabber in South London last year. Ms Braverman said officers must not fear ending up in the dock after having to make split-second decisions. The Defence Secretary, Grant Shapps, has said it would be irresponsible to keep spending money on the HS2 rail line. The government said it's committed to the project, but has refused to confirm whether the Birmingham to Manchester leg of the route will be built. BBC News understands the decision will be made this week. The Labour Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, told Sky News' Sunday Morning with Trevor Phillips the north of England was being unfairly treated.
Why is it always that people here are forced to choose, that we can't have everything? You can have this or you can have that, but you can't have everything. London never has to choose between a north-south line and an east-west line and good public transport within the city. Why is it that people in the north are always forced to choose? Why are we always treated as second-class citizens when it comes to transport?
Security forces in Kosovo have surrounded at least 30 armed gunmen in a monastery in a northern village where hours earlier a police officer was shot dead. Kosovo's Prime Minister has accused Serbia of backing what he called a terrorist attack that also injured another officer. Tensions have been running high in the country after violent clashes followed a disputed local election in May. And NASA is awaiting a delivery of asteroid dust, which could reveal new details about how the planets were formed. A probe was released from a spacecraft earlier and will land in the US state of Utah at around 4 p.m. Our science correspondent, Rebecca Morrell, is waiting for the landing in Salt Lake City.
That final descent is going to be perilous. It will be travelling at 27,000 miles an hour through the atmosphere, experiencing temperatures of 3,000 degrees Celsius. After that, 2 parachutes will open and hopefully that will take it down for a soft landing.
Rebecca Morrell waiting patiently in Salt Lake City there.
Is that the Leicester locomotive coming in?
Hello, Radio 2 in the park. Tears for
Leicester, you were incredible. Don't miss a single moment from Victoria Park.
Radio 2 and the
in the park.
Leicester!
What a weekend!
Experience the roar of the Victoria Park crowd for yourself.
Yes, Leicester!
Just search Radio 2 in the park.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Watch on iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Remember, you can listen to all of the 2 o'clock games in the Premier League between 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website. They are all level. Arsenal, Spurs, Brighton, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Aston Villa, Liverpool, West Ham, all drawing at half-time. And it's also all square on the final day of the Solheim Cup in Spain. Catherine Downs is there.
Yes, Steve, it could not be tighter here at the Costa del Sol. 4 matches completed, 2 of them going the way of the USA, 2 of them going the way of Europe. And of the matches out on the course still, 4 going the way of Europe and 4 going the way of the USA. This is super dramatic stuff, Lydia Hall.
Yeah, this is the edge of the seat stuff. If you need to go to the bathroom, you need to make a cup of tea, need to make lunch, don't do it, because this is on a knife edge. It could go either way here.
Where's the momentum going? Because so often it's all about those shifts in momentum. The roars for Europe carrying the players forward, then the USA peg them back. Where's the momentum at the moment? Because you cannot drive a paper between these 2 teams.
You can't. What I will say is that you've got a couple of matches in favour in the American side, Vu being 3 up and Thompson being 2 up. On the European side, our matches are only 1 up, so they are really, really tight. So I'd say at the moment, unfortunately, the USA have got a slight advantage in a couple of matches.
So it's all evenly balanced here, Steve. Everything on the course is equally divided between the USA and Europe, and then the scores as well, 10-10. We came into this final day's singles at 8-8, a share of the spoils so far, 10 points each between the USA and Europe. Europe need 4 more points to retain the cup, and the USA need 4.5 more points to win the cup, and it is going to go down to the wire. It is so exciting. It's such a superb showcase of women's golf here on the Costa del Sol.
And if you want to listen to commentary of it, you can do that right now via the BBC Sport website and app. Our feature game in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon is a couple of minutes away from getting underway. 3rd versus 4th, Rangers against Motherwell. Gavin Wallace.
Afternoon, Steve. The visitors will be hoping Rangers struggle after their midweek endeavours of the Europa League. Rangers beating the Real Betis Spanish heat. It's muggy here in Glasgow, 18 degrees, so Michael Beale's men will be wanting to keep building momentum as they look to leapfrog Motherwell, who are a place and a point ahead of them in the league, as you say. However, the visitors remain unbeaten on the road under Stuart Kettlewell. Not even Ange Postecoglou could beat them. Rangers with 3 changes from midweek. Wright, Lammers and Dessers in. Seema and Ruth are benched. Lawrence is injured. And Paul McGinn returns from suspension for Motherwell as we're about to get underway here at Ibrox.
Also underway in the next minute in the game between Aberdeen and Ross County. In the early match in the Championship, it finished Stoke City 1, Hull City 3, seconds away from kick-off at the Stadium of Light for Sunderland Cardiff. Shojo Saka.
Yes, Tony Mowbray says his young Sunderland side are a better team than the one which made such a late surge into the playoffs last season. Well, the league table backs up his proclamation. A win today would be 4 in a row for Sunderland. It would take them back up to 4th in the Championship. Mowbray sticks with the same starting 11 that beat Blackburn on Wednesday. Mid-table Cardiff have won their last 2, but away from home they have only managed 1 point in 9 so far this season. Just 1 change for Cardiff today. Yaku Meta comes in for Ollie Tanner on the right wing.
Away from the football, Max Verstappen won the Japanese Grand Prix. You can get more reaction on our Checkered Flag podcast on BBC Sounds. British boxer Joe Joyce says he's not retiring after he was beaten by China's Zhilei Zhang in their heavyweight rematch. Manveer Rai spoke to him after the fight.
It was a tough fight, but I don't feel too damaged or anything from it. I feel like I've had harder spars, but it's just unfortunate that I gave him the opportunity in the first place. So just disappointed and gonna have to take a bit of time off before I come back, and I'll be back bigger and stronger for some other fights.
Joe, I have to ask, are you considering retiring?
Definitely not ready to retire yet. Still got more big fights, and it's heavyweight division is an exciting division, and there's plenty of fights to make. So I don't feel too bad. I'm not fitness wise, I still feel good. I got caught with a good shot, but there's boxing, isn't it? It's I'm a tough man. I've come from rugby.
Messi, I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny. Call me a
Welcome back to Premier League Live here on this Sunday afternoon, the 24th of September, and the 2 o'clock kickoffs at half time. We'll go through those in a moment. As you can see, all of the scores from the Premier League weekend this weekend. Crystal Palace and Fulham played at a 0-0 draw yesterday in the 3 o'clockers. Luton got their first ever points in the Premier League, a point at home against 10-man Wolves. Speaking of 10 men, Manchester City went down to 10 against Nottingham Forest with Rodri sent off, but the damage was already done by then. They won by 2-0 at the Etihad. Everton got their first win of the season away from home at the G-Tech Community Stadium against Thomas Frank's Brentford by 3-1 there. And Manchester United back to winning ways after 3 straight defeats on the road at Burnley, at Vincent Kompany's Burnley, 1-0 through a Bruno Fernandes cracking finish. Half time in the 2 o'clock kickoffs, and it's all square in all 4 games. Arsenal and Tottenham 1-1 in the North London derby. Brighton and Bournemouth 1-1 in that game. Chelsea and Aston Villa are playing out a 0-0 draw, and Liverpool West Ham is also 1-1 at the break. We are about to get underway for the second half. See Arsenal players just coming back out onto the pitch. Gives me time to tell you, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. And it also gives me time to tell you what's coming up next. Do not forget more Premier League football to round off the Premier League weekend. Sheffield United against Newcastle kicks off at 4:30 this afternoon, and we'll have live commentary and live match mapping of that one from Bramall Lane at 4:30 this afternoon. They're going to make a few changes at half-time, actually, Arsenal, so will it be interesting to see what those are. I'll get the full details of those for you in a moment. Looks like a double change, actually. Could be an injury issue, maybe, that's being hinted at here early on in this moment. They're underway in the second half between Chelsea and Aston Villa. They have been for a few moments. Same in Brighton Bournemouth as well. They're underway. Liverpool West Ham is yet to get underway as well. With this one about to get underway for the second half. And it will be Arsenal will get us underway. We've double change, and big news for Arsenal. Big changes at half time. I'll tell you about them in a second once we get underway. And we are back underway. So, 2 huge changes for Arsenal at the break and 2 massive blows. Fabio Vieira and Declan Rice have both been taken off. Now there's a hint of injury amongst them. Of course, remember there are a few injury issues for Arsenal already coming into this game. That's a massive, massive blow if Declan Rice is out injured. Same with Fabio Vieira. The 2 substitutions, by the way, for Arsenal. Vieira and Rice off and replaced by Kai Havertz and Jorginho in midfield. We'll see what Arsenal can do. They need a bit of resilience if they're going to get back ahead. They had the resilience against Manchester United here a good few weeks ago before the international break. I'll be hoping for even more of that, and it'll be a much more important fixture with this North London derby. To get the 3 points in, Spurs have it down the right-hand side through Kulusevski. With a goal in the game at the Amex. We'll get that in a moment as Arsenal try and defend off this, and Gabriel is pulled back there, so that will be a free kick to Arsenal. A 3rd goal in the game at the Amex that we've just been confirmed that it is. Although it might be being checked by VAR. I'll get full confirmation of that right now for you, actually. Have they re-kicked off in that game? They have indeed. It is Brighton that have taken the lead against Bournemouth. They've turned it all the way around from 1-0 down to now lead by 2-1. And the goal scorer is, of course, Kaoru Mitoma, just onto the pitch at half-time. They made a double substitution at half-time. Ferguson and Buonanotte off, and Fati and Mitoma on. And Kaoru Mitoma, instant impact in the first minute of the second half, puts Brighton ahead for the very first time this afternoon in that one. So Brighton leading. The other home sides playing tonight, this afternoon. We're hoping they can follow suit of Brighton in taking the lead there. in that one. Arsenal then have the ball with Gabriel. Across to William Saliba. Back underway in the second half at Anfield as well. Liverpool 1, West Ham 1. At the break it was there. We're just back underway. Jesus has to go back to Gabriel though. No tactical switch there. Here's Kai Havertz down that left-hand side. Gives it out wide to Jesus. Stayed out in that left wing, Jesus. Usually played through the middle, but Nketiah is preferred in that role this afternoon. That's a poor giveaway by William Saliba. Gifted to Spurs, and now on the break is Brennan Johnson. Saliba recovers just about, but Brennan Johnson keeps it. Johnson has to go backwards. It's better from William Saliba to cover that over, but poor giveaway initially. Just trying to play the ball out wide to his right back. Didn't realise that Brennan Johnson was in a good area. Oh, the ball over the top there. Looking for James Maddison, but into the hands of David Raya. Spurs seem to be buoyed by the double change of Arsenal at half-time. Saka up against Udogie. Oh, was on a yellow card. Booked in that first half. Destiny Udogie. Bukayo Saka trying to get past the Spurs left back and will win a corner. Does Bukayo Saka for Arsenal. Positive that. Declan Rice is on the bench. So it's not that he's not anywhere to be seen. He is just on the bench. So we've no indication that that is an injury. I'm sure you will hear from Mikel Arteta post-match about that. And whether that is a concern or not for the Gunners fans. Corner, right-hand side then for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka, who won it, will take it. Left-footed, whipped in. Bouncing all the way through. Ben White! Blocked on the line, handball! Cause of handball, falls to Ødegaard with a strike. Deflected. And will bounce out for an Arsenal corner. Cries of handball. They can't believe Arsenal that it hasn't been given on the field. The VAR will check it, of course. We'll see it again. It's brought in. White brings it down. And it comes straight off the arm of Christian Romero. But who knows nowadays what's handball and what's not. It's out of his body position. He's got his arm outstretched. It's quite close to him. That probably will help him out. But with the handballs we've been seeing given in recent weeks, VAR are checking this. So Arsenal could have a penalty here. Christian Romero, who gave them their opening goal through an own goal, could be gifting them a penalty here through a handball. We'll see what VAR decides. I think it's handball. His arm is outstretched. Although he is trying to get his balance, so it's one of those ones where he's trying to get his balance, but it doesn't have to be intentional, remember. If the ball hits the hand, if it's in an unnatural position, it is handball to the new rules. They are taking their time. They want to make sure they get this right. But it's a subjective one. Very subjective. Some will say it is, some will say it's not. And VAR will say that the referee will go to the screen. So the referee, Rob Jones, has been recommended to go and review his initial decision, which we usually see in the Premier League. The referee usually overturns their initial decision when they're told to go and review it. From that angle, from the angle we're seeing here, from the side, and the slow-mo, Ben White takes the strike with his left foot, and Romero's trying to block the ball. He uses his left arm to try and give him balance, but his left arm is outstretched and up, away from his body. So it is handball to the letter of the law, but whether the referee feels that it's too close, or whether it's just they can't do very much about it, but he's made his decision, Rob Jones, and a penalty's been given. Christian Romero has now made 2 mistakes that could gift Arsenal 2 goals in this North London derby. This one, a lot less of a clear and obvious one than the first own goal, but Ange Postecoglou just has seen the replay on the big screen, and I think he's in disbelief at how that's been given. I think it is a handball, but Ange Postecoglou, of course, doesn't agree with the referee's decision on the pitch, which is to give Arsenal a penalty. So Bukayo Saka to step up for Arsenal, to try and give the home side the lead once again. He was the man that took the strike that deflected off Christian Romero to put Arsenal ahead in the first half. Can he have the same impact to put Arsenal ahead in the second half? Up against Vicario, Bukayo Saka steps up for it. The whistle goes, takes the run up and puts it straight down the middle and straight past Vicario in the Spurs goal. And Arsenal retake the lead in the North London derby. Bukayo Saka, so commonly known as the star boy here in North London at Arsenal, has put them back in front. Arsenal 2, Spurs 1. And Christian Romero in disbelief. Ange Postecoglou also can't believe how that penalty's been given. A beautiful penalty by Saka. Pure confidence from him. You don't take that type of penalty if you're lacking confidence. And confidence is flowing through the veins of Bukayo Saka. Straight down the middle. Power right through the back of the ball. That's a fantastic strike. Fantastic penalty. Vicario dives to his right. No chance at saving that. And Bukayo Saka with the major impact for Arsenal in this North London derby. Two massive impacts. A penalty scored and the strike that deflected off the Spurs defender in the first half. A controversial one, some could argue, for that handball, but I think it looked pretty clear to me. It's in an unnatural position, and when you know it's in an unnatural position, you're at very much risk of the referee having a decision to make. But they've given it away here, Arsenal. Here's James Maddison to Son to level it, and Son! Heung-min Son! It's deja vu from the first half, and Heung-min Son has put Spurs back level instantly. From the jubilation of the Arsenal fans less than a minute ago, and now the Spurs fans cannot believe what they're seeing. And that away end, unbelievable. Heung-min Son is putting in a right captain's performance for Spurs in this North London derby. 2 goals to put Spurs back level in the North London derby. Instantly after Bukayo Saka had put Arsenal back ahead in this second half, and Heung-min Son straight down the other end to put Spurs back on the level playing field. It's a poor mistake again from Arsenal. It's given away in the midfield. Maddison picks it up, plays it straight to Heung-min Son, who's off the back of William Saliba, and he just slots it with the right foot into the far left corner, past David Raya, just side foots it into the side netting on the left hand side. Lovely goal, cool as you like from Heung-min Son, and Ange Postecoglou's side are far from giving up yet. Arsenal 2, Spurs 2. Goodness me, I think we need to take a breather here. There's another yellow card, it's just been handed out there by Rob Jones. I think it's Kai Havertz that's just been booked for that foul on Heung-min Son. My goodness me. Kingston says that's great goal, Tottenham. It was an absolute incredible goal, but again an Arsenal mistake, so easily avoidable from Arsenal's point of view. But from Spurs' point of view, they'll take everything they can get. We have an update from Stamford Bridge, and from more drama in London to even more drama. Chelsea have just been put down to 10 men. Malo Gusto, the right back for Chelsea, has just been sent off. He was initially given a yellow card on the field. VAR was checking, and they have changed the decision. So initially, Jared Gillett, the referee, issued Malo Gusto with a yellow card, but VAR intervened, and Chelsea are down to 10 men against Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge. So Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0, with around 15 minutes gone in the second half, but Chelsea have a man less on the pitch in that one. David Raya to take a free kick then for Arsenal. Well, where do Arsenal go? What do they do now? From that unbelievable feeling of taking the lead from the penalty spot in the North London derby to then conceding straight after that, literally within seconds of the restart, they make a mistake. Maddison plays in Son, and Son finishes. Well, we'd be lying if we said that the North London derby doesn't always offer up drama, doesn't always offer up an exciting game. The last time there was a 2-2 draw between these two in the Premier League was back in September 2019 here at the Emirates. And that 2-2 draw, goals from Christian Eriksen and Harry Kane for Spurs, and Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for Arsenal. All 4 goal scorers in that day are not involved here this afternoon. And that is the last time actually that Spurs actually weren't beaten here in the league by Arsenal. That's the last time they got anything out of this game at the Emirates. The last time there was more than 2 goals scored, or actually more than 4 goals scored in a North London derby in the Premier League was back in December 2018 when Arsenal won 4-2 against Spurs on that day. That was the last time there was any more than 4 goals in a North London derby. 2-2 has been quite a common scoreline over the years between these two. On that day when they won 4-2, Arsenal, Spurs were also down to 10 men as well in that one. Ange Postecoglou will be hoping that nothing of the like happens here this afternoon. Hoping that his side can cause a shock and get their first win at the Emirates in over 13 years. Here's Ben White for Arsenal. Down the right hand side is Saka. 60 minutes gone. 2-2. Saka overlapping is White, but the ball from Bukayo Saka is too much for Ben White to get on the end of, and that runs for a goal kick to Spurs. Lost their way a bit. Arsenal, of course, they couldn't compose themselves after that goal from Saka. There is an issue here for Spurs though. Brennan Johnson, the man making his debut for Tottenham this afternoon after that signing from Nottingham Forest on deadline day. He looks to be in a difficult way. He's sitting down on the pitch. Doesn't look good. He's going to get a bit of treatment. It could be a hamstring, it looks like. That usually seems to be the case when things like that happen. By the way, still 1-1 between Liverpool and West Ham at Anfield as well. At the moment, still all the same around the grounds in the other 2 o'clock games. And just seeing Brennan Johnson getting that treatment. It could be cramp as well, which we're just seeing him getting treated for. Of course, he did come on in that win over Sheffield United for Spurs last week. Johnson, he made his debut, is making his debut this afternoon. He looks to be the man that he was replacing from the starting lineup, Manor Solomon, that will be replacing Brennan Johnson this afternoon from that position. Just seeing the replay of that Spurs goal, it's so poor from Arsenal. They have the ball, they're comfortable in possession, and they're just too casual, too lax on the ball, give it away far too easily, and Mikel Arteta literally cannot believe his eyes from what he's seen from his own team there. Literally caused their own problems in this game so far. We do have another goal at Anfield, and well, they thought they'd taken the lead in the first half through Curtis Jones, but they do have the lead in the second half. It's Liverpool that have put themselves back in front against West Ham, and it's the number 9, Darwin Núñez, with the goal to put Liverpool 2-1 up. at Anfield. I'll talk you through the goal once I see it on my screen. Arsenal putting pressure on Vicario there. He does clear it away. Arsenal trying to get the pressure to win it back. I'm just waiting to see the replay of the goal from Liverpool as Arsenal try and battle for the ball. Ball over the top by... Oh, what a goal. Absolutely incredible from Liverpool. Arsenal coming forward though. Jesus, it's a lovely goal. It's a lovely ball over the top of the defence by Alexis McAllister, and Darwin Núñez chops it over Alphonse Areola to put Liverpool back ahead against West Ham. I'll just talk you through it again once it comes up. It's Alexis McAllister. He gets it in his own half, or inside the West Ham half. It would be some goal if it was in his own half. Inside the West Ham half, around about into the final, just into the final third. He sees the run of Darwin Núñez off the defenders, lifts it over the West Ham defence, and Darwin Núñez with the connection and past Alphonse Areola to put Liverpool 2-1 up. As you can see, as I can see here, Alexis McAllister has the ball in space, right-footed. Núñez makes the run, and first time right-footed flick past Alphonse Areola to put Liverpool 2-1 up there. So 3 home sides. Actually 2 home sides lead. Arsenal did lead, but they don't anymore. Updating that. So 2 home sides lead, and 2 London home sides not in the best of ways at the moment. Arsenal giving away cheap goals, and Chelsea down to 10 men. But still 0-0 in that game between Chelsea and Aston Villa. Aston Villa, as you can expect, since Chelsea went down to 10 men, have had the better of it. They've had 4 shots on target. Majority of their possession and their chances have come since that Malo Gusto sending off. Ben Chilwell has come on to replace Mykhailo Mudryk for Chelsea, so to try and re-stabilise their defence. But it is still 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. Back to the North London derby then. Zinchenko to take the throw in on the left hand side for Arsenal. Seemed like they wanted a bit more out of that, Arsenal, but throw in was given. Jorginho back to Gabriel. Has to go back to David Raya in the goal. He's come out of his own 18-yard box. Ødegaard. Nice Saliba. Martin Ødegaard has to go all the way back to David Raya. Now Gabriel spreads it out to the right. The left-hand side, sorry. Jesus putting pressure on. Gabriel wins the first header again, but Spurs win the second ball. Kulishevsky tries to thread it through for Madison, but the free kick's given on Kulishevsky off the ball, so free kick Spurs. Just seeing another good opportunity for Liverpool. Palmed over the bar by Alphonse Areola to deny them a third. They do have a corner now, Liverpool. Still 2-1 in that one. Free kick then for Tottenham. Pedro Porro and James Maddison over this one then for Spurs. A bit of a right of the centre. Around about 27 yards from goal, I would say. Now if I were to take a guess at it, we will see the delivery on about 28 yards. Right-footed delivery into the box. Headed away by Kai Havertz. Kept alive on the left by Solomon. Solomon with a cross. Straight at David Raya. And Arsenal try and come away with it. Push on Jorginho there. A bit too much that from Christian Romero. And that's a free kick going Arsenal's way. Saliba. Now out to Ben White on the right hand side. Just intercepted by Solomon, who does keep it in and win it back for his team. Vicario under pressure. But he is fouled there. That's a dangerous one. That's a late one. I get that trying to chase the ball, Arsenal, but too much from Eddie Nketiah, who's just been booked by Rob Jones, the referee, for that late challenge on the Spurs keeper. And Spurs will get the free kick, of course, from that position. And just inside their own 18-yard box. Update you on some scorelines around the world in European football. In the Scottish Premiership, Rangers have just taken the lead against Motherwell, just literally not too far into that game. 24 minutes, Cyril Dessers with the goal to put Rangers ahead in that one in the Scottish Premiership, if anyone's ever so inclined to be interested in that one. And in the EFL Championship, it is Sunderland 0, Cardiff City 0 at the Stadium of Light. At the moment, it's around about 26 minutes gone in that one. Right, so we're about to be into the final quarter of this game at the Tottenham, or at the Emirates, not the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, at the Emirates, where Arsenal have taken the lead twice and Spurs have found their way back into the game and levelled it twice. And one player for each team heavily involved. Saka, heavily involved in both goals, and Son scoring both goals for Tottenham. So key men for each team, as it's given away by Arsenal again, picked up by Sarr. Now Kulusevski on the right. Kulusevski threads it through for Son. Son on a hat-trick! Just wide of the post from Heung-min Son. He wants a corner, I think. James Maddison's just been taken down as well. Whatever happened there, that happened off screen. I didn't see what happened. Was there an offside call? Strange. It's Jorginho, so casual in midfield. Honestly, since they've come onto the pitch in that second half, Arsenal, they've just looked so weak in midfield. And James Maddison is in a difficult position here. He was involved in the challenge with Jorginho to try and win the ball back. He did win it back for his team, but he's gone down. That's really not good news for Spurs here. If he does have to go off, James Maddison, he's getting treatment at the moment in that one. Let's bring you up to date with round the grounds at the moment. Brighton still 2-1 up against Bournemouth. It's been probably better from Brighton in the second half. They probably had the better of it, but still it is only 2-1 in that one. Still 0-0 between Chelsea and Aston Villa. Aston Villa, it's been all them since that red card. And by the way, I have a goal update to you on that one. And Liverpool still lead by 2-1 against West Ham. They're looking to push for a third, Liverpool as well. Just as I'm watching that, they're getting close on a couple of occasions. Speaking of coming close, I don't know if it's actually been given. This has been a shambles today, telling us Villa have the ball in the net. I'm just going to tell you that much. They've had the ball in the net, Aston Villa. Whether it's been corroborated and given is still a bit of confusion about that at the moment. James Maddison is still getting treatment, by the way, at the Emirates. And it has been given? It has been given. Chelsea down to 10 and now a goal down at home against Unai Emery's Aston Villa. Aston Villa, who were beaten on Thursday night in the Europa Conference League. Well, they're looking to get back straight on the horse and back to winning ways against 10-man Chelsea, and it's Ollie Watkins with the goal. It was actually a corner from Spurs from that whole occasion. That's Son chance, did take a deflection. Cross whipped in from Porro straight into the hands of Raya. So James Maddison was receiving treatment. He hasn't been taken off, I don't think. He's off the pitch at the moment, I believe. I can't see him on the pitch, so it looks to be, yeah, Spurs with 10 on the pitch at the moment. And there's James Maddison just coming back on. Waved back on by the referee. So he will be okay, and he looks a very good sign for Tottenham. Real worry if he had to leave the field of play this afternoon. He's been their best player this season, arguably. Most best performing Premier League Player of the Month as well for August. Fantastic impact he's had since signing in the summer. Ball down the left-hand side for Arsenal, but that one's wide. And Nketiah can't gather it and keep it in. It looks like they've just switched Jesus and Nketiah, by the way, Arsenal, at the moment. Let me just confirm to you, there is team news from the half-4 kickoff as well. Sheffield United against Newcastle. You can watch that one live, listen to live audio commentary and live match mapping of that one between Sheffield United and Newcastle at Bramall Lane here on LFS from 4:30 this afternoon. Well, a bit nervy at the back there from Spurs. The pass back to Vicario, straight out of play. Arsenal throw in, looking to capitalise. The crowd getting behind them. Zinchenko, Jesus, through to Havertz, who hits it off Romero. Corner to Arsenal. And that could be something that gives Arsenal a bit of hope here. I'll get the team news from Bramall Lane after this corner has been taken. I'll give you the full details of that one in a moment. So Ødegaard to take this corner on the left hand side for Arsenal. He's ready to go there. Took a second chance at it. Left footed delivery, whipped in, bounced on and straight into the hands of Vicario. So team news from Bramall Lane then. So for Paul Heckingbottom's side hosting Newcastle, Wes Foderingham starts in goal. A back four of Jadon Bogle, Anel Agman-Hodzic, John Egan the captain and Jack Robinson. A midfield two of Gus Hammer and Oliver Norwood. An attacking three of James McAtee, Vinicius Souza and Luke Thomas, with Cameron Archer leading the line for Sheffield United. Big chance for Spurs. Porro looking for the cross, deflects off Gabriel. Corner Spurs. The Newcastle side then, Nick Pope in goal, Kieran Trippier the captain, Fabian Schär, Sven Botman and Dan Burn in a back four, Bruno Guimaraes, Sean Longstaff and Elliot Anderson in midfield, with Miguel Almiron, Harvey Barnes and Callum Wilson the front three for Newcastle. That game kicks off in about 55 minutes time at Bramall Lane. Corner then to Spurs on the right hand side. Seems to be it's hanging in the balance on a knife edge this game at the moment here at the Emirates. A North London derby that's quite close in contest. We're ready to take the corner there, Spurs, but there's a bit of pushing and shoving in the box, and Christian Romero has just been given a yellow card. Can his day get any worse? Own goal, penalty conceded, and now a yellow card as well. All he needs is another one, and it'll probably go down as one of the worst days for a centre-back ever in the Premier League. Corner then for Spurs to be taken. It's his first yellow card of the season, Christian Romero. That probably is a bit of a positive. I don't know why, but maybe it is. So Spurs to take this corner then. Porro with the delivery, right-footed. First connection by Zinchenko, who heads it away. Picked up by Kulishevsky. Comes off Kulishevsky. Saka picks it up. Ødegaard trying to go on the break. Kulishevsky recovers. Porro. Spurs in space now. Kulishevsky down the right hand side. Cuts back onto his left. Pape Sarr gets past Ødegaard. Sarr's ball is intercepted and won back by Arsenal. And the free kick will also be given to Arsenal for that foul on Jorginho by Pape Sarr in trying to win the ball back. So Arsenal going to make another substitution as well at the moment. In a moment. Here. And it's Reece Nelson that looks to be the change coming on in a second at the next break of play. Saliba, David Raya, Zinchenko. Now he's Jorginho in space. Out to the left is Gabriel Jesus. He's moved, switched back with Nketiah. Jesus cutting inside, gives it across to Jorginho. Now Ødegaard. Seen this so often from Arsenal. White with a cross, and Nketiah with a flick on straight at Vicario. So often we see that build up from Arsenal. Taking it down one end, working it across the pitch, and Ødegaard trying to set someone up. And that ends up into the hands of Vicario safely from a Spurs point of view. And another goal in the game at the Amex. Spurs have just given it away again. Jorginho with the ball over the top. Nketiah makes the run in behind. Nketiah will be offside. Corner. Offside? Something. There is a fourth goal in the game at the Amex. Brighton had turned it around and turned the tables on Bournemouth after they'd taken the lead. And Kairo Mitoma has had a massive impact in the second half. He is single-handedly at the moment leading Brighton to victory. His second goal of the game, Brighton's third, and Brighton lead by 3-1 at the Amex against Bournemouth. So changes coming here. Double change for Spurs as well. They're going to make changes. We'll tell you about those. It's Heung-min Son who is coming off. And I think James Maddison is also going to be joining him. So Son off. And Maddison also coming off. And they will be replaced by Richarlison. And trying to gather who the other player is. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. So Højbjerg and Richarlison on for Son and Maddison here for Spurs. And that Arsenal substitution, they did make the substitution just a second ago. I mentioned that Reiss Nelson was the player coming on. Waiting on confirmation to see who he was replacing in that one. But Son, Maddison off for Spurs. Richarlison and Højbjerg on for Spurs. And I still don't know who Reiss Nelson's come on for. Reiss Nelson has come onto the pitch. I'll update you with that when I have the information in front of me. So Spurs have the ball then. 11.5 minutes plus additional time to go in this North London derby. 2-2 between these two sides. 2 apiece. And they have... Will we have a winner here in this game? Well, the last draw between these two in a North London derby was the last time that Spurs did get something out of an Arsenal game against Arsenal, which was back in 2019. Since then, it's either been a win, either side has won this fixture. Both Arsenal and Spurs have won the fixture since that draw in 2019. That was the last time there was a draw in this one. So, based on recent history, it's unlikely that this game will end a draw, but there's a first time for everything. Records have to come to an end. Streaks have to come to an end at some point. Here's Kulusevski down the right hand side for Spurs. Plays it on for Porro. Back to Kulusevski now. Pape Sarr. Still all the same around the grounds in the 2 o'clockers from our last update. You can see all the latest scorelines on the left hand side of your screen. If I just update the Brighton score, there's the 4 updated scorelines on the left hand side of your screen there for those games. There's a Dogi defending for Spurs. Last 10 minutes as we just hit the 80th minute, the 80-minute mark. So big important 10 minutes or so for both of these teams who have unbeaten starts to the season. I mentioned that prior to the game. 4 wins and a draw from their first 5 for each of these two. Spurs drew their very first game and have won 4 on the bounce since. Arsenal, their only draw, coming in the middle of that winning run. That home draw against Fulham, which, by the way, was 2-2. But either side of that, 2-1 win over Forest, 1-0 win over Crystal Palace, 3-1 win over Man United, and a 1-0 win over Everton in the league. Before that, 4-0 win over PSV in the Champions League in midweek. And Arsenal trying to come forward, blocked off there was Saka. Spurs, by the way, I'll mention their games. The opening game of the season away at Brentford, they drew 2-2. Since then, a 2-0 win against Manchester United, a 2-0 win against Bournemouth, a 5-2 win against Burnley, and a 2-1 win against 10-man Sheffield United last week in the league. Either side of those, they had an EFL Cup defeat to Fulham in a London derby at Craven Cottage. That was on penalties that night. They won't get penalties to try and settle the score here at the Emirates this afternoon. Right then, Arsenal have a throw in. They need to kind of get their way back into it. In the second half, there's been 3 shots on target, 2 for Tottenham, or 2 for Arsenal, sorry, 1 for Tottenham. It's been pretty even in this second half, and that's probably why that 1-1 score at half time has seen a 2-2 score in the second half. Very even. Højbjerg picks it up for Spurs. Down the left is Solomon. Solomon trying to get past Saliba, but that's really good from the Arsenal centre-back to anticipate and intercept. He tries to bring it out from the back, but Basuma wins it back. Now Udogie picks it up on that left-hand side. Destiny Udogie up against Saka. Roles reversed, but Saka wins it back. Havertz bouncing it around. Saka and Havertz will get the free kick for Arsenal. Right. Still goalless between Sunderland and Cardiff in the Championship. Still, Rangers lead Motherwell by 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen 2-0 up against Ross County as well in the Scottish Premiership at the moment. Well, there's nothing worse than losing a derby late on. That could be the case for one of these two teams this afternoon. We don't know, but very much could be. Spurs having the ball again. Both teams are trying to really conjure up a winning chance. Even a chance to try and go for a winner, but so far not so good for either team. They're both giving it away when they try and advance forward. Havertz almost giving it away. Odegaard picks up the loose ball. Saliba. Now out wide is Ben White. Infield is Saka. Saka. Now to Odegaard. Odegaard. Out wide to the left. Here's Reece Nelson. Arsenal getting forward here. Nelson cuts inside. Reece Nelson takes a deflection. Corner Arsenal on the right hand side. Liverpool have made quite a few substitutions in that game against West Ham. At the moment, Gravenberch, Jota and Gakpo all onto the pitch. Quite a lot of attacking changes. Still 2-1 to Liverpool in that one, by the way, if you're interested. Still the same everywhere else. Arsenal have a corner then on the right hand side. Remember what they did to Manchester United. They got a winning goal from a corner late on against United. 96th minute, by the way. It was actually 1-1 at that point. Corner from Saka, flicked on and just wide of the back post. My goodness me, I didn't see who flicked it on for Arsenal, but it was ever so close. It's a deep one from Saka, really close. Flicked on actually by a Spurs player, I think. Getting up to it, Van de Ven might come off Gabriel on the way through. Let's see what the referee's given here. I think he might have given another corner. He has. Corner Arsenal, left hand side, flicked in. Saka there threatening to try and pick it up. And Nketiah loses out. And Saka tries to win it back, but Spurs will get the throw in on the left hand side in that one. So still 2-2. Arsenal upping the ante a bit into the last 5 minutes of the 90. Arsenal 2, Spurs 2 in this North London derby. Look at that. Seeing the corner from Saka, such a threatening corner. Had everyone up and threatening. Declan Rice a bit frustrated on the sidelines there. They all thought that was going to go in, but he was the man that scored the winner actually against Manchester United here from a corner to get Arsenal 3 points. Very close. Oh, falls to the edge of the box. Havertz with a strike. Just wide. My goodness me, Arsenal are really pushing for it now. It's a throw in on the right hand side. It's lovely link up in the box. Spurs half clear it. It bounces out to Havertz, who's in the D on the edge, centre of the goal, and strikes right through the ball. Just doesn't catch it the way he would have wanted, and it ends up high and wide for a goal kick. But Arsenal coming close. And Nketiah intercepting that from Romero, but straight back to Vicario for Spurs. What can Spurs conjure up? Arsenal have had their little spell of good attacking football. Can Spurs respond? They've responded to 2 Arsenal goals. Can they respond and try and take the lead for the very first time here? Oh, that's a lovely challenge by William Saliba for the run of, I think that was Udogie down the left. It was Udogie that had made that run down the left hand side, and it was a lovely challenge by Saliba. Throw in Spurs on the left. They've taken it. Romero. We do have the ball in the net at Anfield. It's not been corroborated yet, but there is a goal at Anfield at the moment. We'll get to that in a moment. Arsenal trying to play it through. The loose ball picked up by Ødegaard. Ødegaard finds it to Nketiah. On the forced right, far on the far right, keeps it alive. Nketiah. Saka. That's the ball run. Saka cuts it back. Jorginho. Now Zinchenko. Threads it through. Reece Nelson on the left. Nelson, can he find a man in? Heads it off the Pedro Porro, the Spurs defender. Corner to Arsenal. We do have a fourth goal at Anfield, and it's a third goal for Liverpool. I said they were pushing for the third, and they did find the third. There was a bit of confusion as to whether there was an offside in the initial, but there was nothing wrong with it. The corner whipped in. Virgil van Dijk heads it across, and Jota just finishes. Lovely finish by Diogo Jota. And Liverpool look to be heading their way to 3 points at home. Well, Arsenal will be hoping for the same result here, but still 2-2. Bissouma with it for Spurs. Romero into the middle for Højbjerg. Højbjerg with a long ball. Trying to find the run of Richarlison, who hasn't really got into the game since he's come onto the pitch. Richarlison has to go back to Udogie. Up against Ødegaard. Battling is Ødegaard and Udogie. Udogie does keep it. And Saka commits the foul. Or commits the challenge, but Udogie commits the foul. Free kick to Arsenal. I would have said that was a Spurs free kick, to be fair, and the other way, but referee's giving it to Arsenal. And Udogie, well, if he's deemed to have fouled Saka, could there be a call for maybe a second yellow? Not from the referee, anyway. Some of the Arsenal fans are calling for it. Yeah, it is a lazy challenge. I didn't see that initially. I thought Saka had actually leaned in on Udogie, but it's actually Udogie held Saka and held him back. So it is rightfully a free kick to Arsenal. Into added time at the Amex. 6 minutes of additional time between Brighton and Bournemouth, but it seems to be the result almost wrapped up there. Brighton 3-1 to the good. Liverpool a bit behind the rest of us. 3 minutes to go before the 90 minutes, and that one Liverpool 3-1 to the good against West Ham. And former Liverpool player Danny Ings is about to come onto the pitch for West Ham. Chelsea heading into added time. They're already into added time. 11 minutes of additional time to be played there. They've played 3 of them. And Aston Villa still find themselves 1-0 up against 10-man Chelsea. And here, Arsenal 2, Spurs 2. We're about to hit the 90th minute, by the way. And we will have 10 additional minutes. Well, there's no hurry anyway for a winner. 10 minutes of additional time for one of these sides to get the winner. Nelson, Zinchenko. Back to Gabriel. Can Arsenal push for it, or will Spurs get it on the break? So 10 additional minutes has just been announced round the stadium, which gets a cheering reaction from the home crowd. Not often you would see that. They would barely be hoping for the end of the game quicker, but they're happy with this. Arsenal. White now finding Ødegaard, trying to flick it in. Van de Ven miscues his clearance. Corner to Arsenal. Seems to be the pressure's building on Spurs. Seem to be Arsenal causing more and more problems late on here. Don't forget the Premier League football doesn't end there. This afternoon, Sheffield United against Newcastle at 4:30 this afternoon. Around about 40 minutes to go on that one. A corner whipped in. Just headed clear. Saka picks it up on the edge. Strike from distance from Saka. Forces Vicario to the save. And Saka almost got the third. It's cleared away off the line by Romero. It's picked up by Saka on the edge, who just takes the strike straight with the left foot, curling towards goal, and it forces the save by Vicario to put it behind for the corner. Looked to be going wide actually, but Vicario didn't take any chances. Arsenal have the corner. Nelson to take, right-footed, back post. Gabriel was there, and the last touch is off a Spurs player. Another Arsenal corner. Pressure is really building now. Arsenal, a couple of successive corners. Arsenal getting full support from the home crowd. Corner whipped in. Vicario can't get it, and then he does at the second time of asking. Gets the catch on the ball. So two home sides seem to be winning at the moment. Oh, well, actually, there could be a handball shout here. No, it was on the replay, sorry. It looked to be a slight handball from a Spurs player, but the referee's played on. And Spurs just offside there with Richarlison. So free kick to Arsenal. They've had all the attacking action, probably the last 5 minutes. Arsenal, they've been dominating quite comfortably. Still haven't found the winner. 5 additional minutes will be played at Anfield. They've just hit the 90 minutes there. Liverpool 3-1 to the good. Still 7 minutes to go of the 10 added on here. Into the last 2 minutes at the Amex, with Brighton pushing for a 4th. 3-1 to the good there. And Chelsea-Aston Villa is Aston Villa leading by 1-0. There's still about 5 minutes to play in that one. So quite a bit of time to go in all of the 2 o'clockers. Here's Reece Nelson down the left for Arsenal. Cuts it back for Havertz with a cross. Not cleared away by Spurs. But a strange attempt at a clearance. Porro tries to get it away and does so. Then gives it away to Havertz. Havertz trying to break through. Bissouma defending. And the last touch is off Kai Havertz, and that will be a goal kick to Tottenham. Much better from Arsenal. They've looked a bit wayward in this second half for most of it. Weren't really in the game in terms of an attacking sense for quite a bit of the game. It looked like if anyone was going to get a third goal, it was going to be Spurs for a vast majority of this second half. After they got that second goal from Heung-min Son, Arsenal just really failed to recover from that. But the last 5-10 minutes, they've really turned it on. And since hearing that there would be 10 additional minutes, Arsenal seem to be buoyed by that, cheered up and happy with that. Here's Kulusevski for Spurs. Kulusevski comes in field, has to go backwards. Back to Romero. Bissouma. Beaten off the ball almost. Nelson tried to win it back, but Kulusevski picks up the loose ball. Kulusevski now into the box for Richarlison, trying to spin. Cleared away. And Richarlison, of course, set up the late winner for Spurs last week. A 98th minute winner for Spurs. They've time to do something similar. Richarlison with a strike, bouncing around. And David Raya. It was an awkward one for him, but he did get the catch on the ball just ahead of his goal line. Havertz gets the roll. Out to the left is Nelson. Inside his own half still. Bit of pressure from Porro. Goes back to Zinchenko. Now Jorginho. Saliba. Out to the far right is White. Back to Saka. Jorginho with the switch ball. Finds Nelson on that far left flank. Half of the additional time has been played. Into the 6th minute of additional time of the 10. So time is starting to tick down if one of these sides needs a winner. White. Now Ødegaard at the byline, keeps it in. And the last touch of an Arsenal player. And Ødegaard, good defending by Udogie. Throw in Spurs. Full time from the Amex. And despite being behind in that game, Brighton have turned it all around in the second half. And Kairo Mitoma brace single-handedly leads Brighton to 3 points against Bournemouth. Bournemouth still looking to get their first win of the season. One of 4 teams yet to get 3 points this season. And Bournemouth sit in 17th. They had the lead, but Brighton turned it all around to win 3-1. That, by the way, as it stands, with results elsewhere, with Tottenham and Arsenal drawing at the moment, would put Brighton up into 3rd in the Premier League table. And I'll update you on all of that before we leave you this afternoon from this North London derby. We've still got quite a bit of time to go. Emil Smith-Rowe is coming on here for Arsenal, switching out for Bukayo Saka. So making a late change, a late attacking substitution from Mikel Arteta. Arsenal pushing, probing, looking for that winner. They did so against Manchester United for quite a long period of time, and eventually they find the breakthrough through Declan Rice from a corner. Will it be repeat of the same result here? Or will Spurs be able to hold on for their first points in a North London derby in almost 4 years? Smith Rowe cuts it back, or first points at the Emirates in almost 4 years, that is, apologies. Smith Rowe then, at full time at Anfield, and Liverpool, despite being held 1-1 at half-time with West Ham, they have come back in the second half, up the ante, and went on to score 2 more goals to win that game by 3-1, which puts them in second place as it stands. I'll update you on all that at the very end, of course. 2 minutes plus 2 minutes of additional time to go, so into the 9th minute of additional time here at the Emirates. 2-2 it remains. Kulishevsky trying to force a counter-attack for Spurs, but David Raya will pick that one up and clear it long. Kept in by Havertz, lovely link up. And Nketiah taken a bit out of there, and that'll be a free kick to Arsenal. He's really barged quite aggressively there by Christian Romero, who's on a yellow card. Said his day could only get worse if he was sent off, giving away a penalty and scoring an own goal. Here's Smith Rowe on the left for Arsenal. Back to Zinchenko. Zinchenko with a cross right into the box. Back post. Headed away by Adoge. White keeps it alive on the right side. And we'll roll it out for a throw-in. Still playing in the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa. Aston Villa looking to be going for a win. Look to be on the course for a win. 11 minutes already up there. And the time is up. Chelsea have been beaten at home again. And by 10-man Chelsea beaten by Aston Villa in the Premier League. Chelsea have had an awful start to the season. Arsenal, last minute of the game. Bit scrappy, that's gone. Spurs have got the ball back inside their own half. Papi Sarr carrying it away. Bissouma now out wide to Kulishevsky. Can Spurs nick it late? Kulishevsky in the box here. Kulishevsky cuts it back. Strike just wide by Richarlison. Could have been the hero. Just goes wide into the last 30 seconds. That is a huge opportunity for Spurs. Takes a deflection though. Corner. They do have one more chance. It will be some story if they do this, Spurs, 2 weeks in a row to come from behind to win. This one will mean so much more to them than last week in terms of the nature of it. Corner from Porro, whipped in, headed away by Arsenal, and that is it. No more time for any more attacking, and the point is shared between these two. A point apiece. The first time that there's been a draw in a North London derby since 2019 here at the Emirates, and neither side could find the winner. It helps, actually, the teams in and around them that were in action today. The likes of Liverpool and Brighton benefit from both of these teams dropping points. A North London derby that, on the balance of things, you can't say that either side deserved it. A very even game overall. Bukayo Saka was heavily involved for Arsenal. He took the strike that deflected off Christian Romero to put Arsenal ahead. Son then levelled it before half-time. And then into the second half, Bukayo Saka scored from the penalty spot to put Arsenal back ahead before just minutes later, even seconds later, Heung-min Son did what he did in the first half and got Spurs back level. That is how it ends at the Emirates. A point apiece, and Spurs will see much more of the positives than Arsenal out of this. Arsenal at times in the last 5-10 minutes of that game could have felt that they could have won it. Spurs could have stole it very, very late on, but neither side could get the decisive winner that would give them the 3 points. Both teams dropped points here this afternoon. They would have wanted the win, but neither could get it. Full-time score from the North London derby. Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2. And let's just recap all of the scores from the 2 o'clock games then for you. And Arsenal Tottenham 2-2 as they've just gone through. Brighton beat Bournemouth by 3-1. They'd actually gone behind in that game early on, Brighton. Bournemouth had taken the lead through Dominic Solanke in that one in the first half. Milos Kerkez scored an own goal in the added time in the first half to put Brighton back level, and then a Cairo Mitoma brace in the second half gave Brighton all 3 points in a 3-1 victory, which moves them up, by the way, into third place in the Premier League table. 5 wins from a possible 6 for Brighton is a sensational return from their sensational return to the start of the season for them. 15 points out of a possible 18 is sensational. Chelsea, on the other hand, they will be nowhere near the top of the table this afternoon. They're actually sitting down in 14th after 6 games. Another awful outcome for them. Whether the display was awful, we'll find out on Match of the Day later. But Chelsea beaten again at home by Aston Villa. Aston Villa, who got the decisive winner through Ollie Watkins in the second half, late in the second half, after Axel Disasi, his goal in the first half was disallowed, and Malo Gusto was sent off for Chelsea in the second. Straight red card. Initially was given as a yellow on the field, but VAR checked it and changed the decision. Red card for Malo Gusto before Ollie Watkins scored the winner in that one. That moves Aston Villa, by the way, up into the 6th place, into the top 6, with 12 points from their first 6 games, only losing to Newcastle and Liverpool in their first 6, 4 wins in those other games. And Chelsea, just the 1 win from 6, 14th they sit, and they are 4 points off the relegation zone. It seems strange to say it, but it's true. They are, and they have a negative goal difference as well. 3 defeats out of their first 6 games, Chelsea, is certainly a very, very bad start to the season for them. And the other 2 o'clock game at Anfield, where Liverpool got the 3 points. Mohamed Salah opened the scoring for the Reds in that one from a penalty spot. A foul given in the 18-yard box by the defender, Naif Aguer. Salah converted it to put Liverpool 1 up. Jared Bowen then put West Ham back level just before half-time with a diving header inside the post to find 1-1. And then into the second half it came. Liverpool up their level, and they got 2 goals in the second half. Alexis McAllister's pass and Darwin Nunez with a first-time finish to put Liverpool 2-1 up before a corner the corner from the left-hand side. Robertson whipped it in, Van Dijk with a flick on, and Diogo Jota with a finish to put Liverpool 3-1 up, and that confirmed the 3 points. Liverpool head into 2nd in the Premier League, only 2 points behind Manchester City, and the only side other than City to remain unbeaten and have more than 15 points from their first 6 games. Man City and Liverpool seem to be hitting the pace early on in the Premier League. Liverpool's only kind of blemish to their start to the season was that opening day draw away at Chelsea. And don't forget, the Premier League action does not end there this afternoon. We finish with a game at Bramall Lane to come in around about 25 minutes time. Do stay tuned for that one. Sheffield United against Newcastle. That game is coming up 4:30, and we'll have live commentary and match mapping from that one in around 25 minutes time. But it's honours even. It's a point apiece from the North London derby. Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2. Neither team could separate the other.